What's good, it's your boy Jana Hoodie back with another video. And guys, for today's video, we'll be reacting to Paul George's suspension doesn't add up by AM Hoops. Okay, I recently made a video on this on the main channel, the channel that you're watching this on right now. I made a video on this yesterday. So AM Hoops has something to say about it, and you know he is a professional at this, bro. Way more professional than I am. You know, this man does this for a living. AM Hoops is the best. Make sure to subscribe to AM Hoops. Shout out to AM Hoops for giving us great content to react to. And without further ado, let's get straight into the video. 3, 2, 1, go.
Something about the Paul George suspension makes no sense. When you lay out the facts, they scream someone is lying. And it turns out there are clues that lead to an answer on what's really going on. But PG got suspended 25 games without pay for violating the league's anti-drug policy, which cost him about $12 million, better been some good drugs. This came after an amazing game.
That's crazy to think about, bro. NBA players literally making, like 12 to 13 million in just like 25 games, which is really like a few months, which is insane to think about, bro. These players are making so much money, bro. I was gonna say these millions, but like not even all them, man, because like WNBA players too, they make money, but I mean, of course, not as much as NBA players are. But I mean, at the end of the day, man, they was making bank, not gonna lie. So yeah, 12 million is a lot. And also for Paul George as well, he's not even like his prime self he used to be. So really, that's not even necessarily a lot of money for an NBA player, bro. So that's like, I'm not gonna say it's chump change to them, because obviously that's their income, and like, you know, they're saying that's a big hit. But like, they definitely have different views on money than other people would, because they have so much of it, you know, just like any person that would be financially, you know, well off and like, you know, has a lot of money would view it. So yeah,
in Milwaukee,
crazy to think about.
Paul dropped 32 points out here, making 9 threes, most since 2019 on OKC. So the NBA is like, you looking a little too much like your old self. And sure enough, drug test positive. Now the internet, when did you nickname mode? Pushing P, positive P, prescription P, performance enhancing drugs P. Not sure if that's creative. Peptide P, like that one. But wait, turns out all the jokesters on the internet are wrong. There's a very serious and good reason Paul George got popped. He told Shams, over the past few years, I've discussed the importance of mental health. And in the course of recently seeking treatment for an issue of my own, I made the mistake of taking an improper medication. But I take full responsibility for my actions and apologize. So it was mental health. That's not bad, it's not cheating. How could the NBA suspend him for that? Because PG is one of the reasons mental health's taken so seriously. Back in 2018, the NBA just didn't talk about it. But then a shift happened led by players. Kevin Love, DeMar DeRozan spoke out despite the stigma. And in 2020, Paul discussed anxiety and depression in the bubble to help normalize a common condition. So how the heck could they suspend a guy 25 games without pay for treating his mental health? Because he wasn't treating his mental health. Okay, I'm sorry I came out and said it. Nobody wants to say it, but it makes...
Dude, I mean, hey man, AM Hoops is gonna say the facts, man. AM Hoops is not gonna fluff nothing, man. AM Hoops is here for that reason, bro. He's a non-biased reporter. This man's gonna say the facts. And wow, okay, it wasn't for mental health. All right. No, I can see that. Like I said, I don't want to downplay mental health at all, you know, because it is a big issue and a big thing. But yeah, at the same time, like, yeah, that makes sense, bro. That's an easy cop out to kind of have, you know what I mean? So that makes sense.
No sense. If the NBA saw Paul George taking something for his mental health, they would not come down this hard. And Paul would have fought it. Instead, he's like, you got me. Here's 12 million bucks. Yeah, right. If it was a legit medication, he would feel wrongfully convicted. He would fight it, at least an appeal, right? Like, I appeal this punishment, can easily show a judge or an arbiter how this is legit treatment for mental health. Case closed. Instead, he just accepts the suspension. Really, I at least do not buy it. So what could it be? Well, this is the list of banned substances by the NBA. And I'm not gonna show every single substance. They literally list every single thing. I'm gonna show categories. If I would show all the substances, it would take like 10 pages. A, drugs of abuse, like party drugs. B, synthetic cannabinoids, which I was surprised by. I was like, I thought weed was legal in the NBA. It is, but not the synthetic stuff, apparently. C, steroids and PEDs.
I got into that in my last video when I said I know NBA players like smoke marijuana and like weed and things like that. I know Kevin Durant is a heavy smoker, so I guess you can have it as long as it's natural though, and it can't be like anything synthetic, which makes sense because like yeah, they can like lace it with performance enhancing drugs rather than just normal cannabis. So I can see that for sure. So and that makes more sense because yeah, when I was talking about it, like I know those players smoke and they're not in trouble and they're not getting suspended. So I guess that's just how that situation works with weed and cannabis for NBA players.
Peptides and SARMs, indeed diuretics, which is basically just a way to mask your PED use. It's what DeAndre Ayton was popped for. So if it was mental health, then Paul would have gotten an exception for anything on this list. Like every NBA team now required to have a mental health professional on staff. If that person prescribed PG something, they would have got it cleared. So it must have been something not prescribed. Like what? Well, maybe like, I don't know, Xanax or something. I could see a doctor not wanting to prescribe that. Like some medication that a doctor says isn't appropriate, but he feels helps him mentally. This is exactly what weed used to be for athletes, by the way, before it became legal. Or PEDs. Can you believe that Paul accidentally may have outed himself already? 1 year ago, a reporter asked him if there was any wisdom to pass on to an injured Embiid to get back to being himself. And Paul George said, drugs help. What? I thought that was fake.
Yo.
Turns out 100% real tweet. But why would he do that
Hey man, checks out.
now when he already got paid? Like most pro athletes do this kind of thing to secure a bag. If they get caught, oh well, already got my cash. Have my 12 million bucks. I got 200 million out of this bargain. But in this case, he already got paid. So the only reason would be to rehab his reputation. Paul George has become one of the most hated players in the league. Dude has not had a significant legacy-defining playoff moment since his early Indiana years. Like when Paul was like 22.
Personally, I know a lot of people that like Paul George. Me, I'm a big fan of Paul George as well. I feel like he's doing, great things on the court. I'm not gonna, necessarily applaud his off the court things, but I mess with the podcast too. Podcast B is tough. So, I'm a big fan of Paul George. I don't see any haters on Paul George at all. So I mean, I don't know, man. I'm not seeing that.
23 years old, he was taking the Miami Heat Big Three to the brink. His Pacers fought hard in the East Finals, and we all
that's
thought
a throwback,
for sure,
not gonna lie. Paul George on the Pacers, yeah, that's a throwback, man.
Paul George one day gonna win a championship. But since then, that day has not come. And in 2020, injuries started to become a huge factor. PG has played more than 56 games one time in 7 years. Oh, and that one time just happened to come in a contract year. How convenient. This season will be a whopping 37 games max. Oh, and speaking of that contract, he's making max money in Philly while injured, got the podcast.
Damn, I'm surprised they gave him the max, not gonna lie. Because I said earlier in the video, I don't even think Paul George is getting, like, the most money that NBA players get. But if he's getting the max, then that's like literally the max amount you can get salary wise. So dang, I'm not expecting that, bro. They really gave Paul George the max? That's crazy. Or unless it's from another team, right? I think that's how it works. Like when you trade them, you still have to pay them the max, I'm pretty sure. So it doesn't matter what team they go to. So I guess the Clippers gave him the max, and then the Sixers have to pay it. I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Under 500, he's like, I think I should start focusing on basketball. You think? People hate him for this, especially because he's on max money, doesn't know what's coming into his body. That is inexcusable. What he probably thought was, if I don't take this, I'm probably going to be out anyway, so let's roll the dice, and he got caught. Now, I am totally guessing with that, by the way. Obviously, I don't know, but it's the only thing that makes sense. I actually don't even think PEDs should be illegal for pro athletes when getting healthy. Like, these dudes are not normal people. If a peptide can help them recover faster, why should they not take it? And athletes have been doing this for years. The LeBron allegations, Kobe flying to Germany to get better, what was that all about? In fact, I think years from now, athletes doing these types of drugs to recover will be just like college players getting paid. They all used to do it under the table, but now it's legal because we all can see the old way was stupid. By the way, what I basically just described is weed. Everybody did it, eventually let it go. And why would we even care if a guy uses PEDs to recover, get back on the court? or extend his prime. That could only be a good thing. This isn't Joe Schmo at the gym. But for now, it is illegal. And some Sixer fans say, hey, this might actually be a good thing. Because it turns out, because Philly doesn't have to pay that $12 million anymore, they are now only a little over $1 million over the luxury tax. And with those savings, they can now dip out of the tax without harming the roster. Before this, people thought they're going to have to get rid of a Kelly Oubre or a Quentin Grimes. Not anymore. They can do Andre Drummond or some random bench guy who never plays. Also, Paul going to come back about 10 games before the playoffs. That means he will now have fresh legs and time to build chemistry. This is good, if not for the timing. Right now, the Sixers are the 6th seed and just a game and a half out of the play-in. Teams who are chasing them for a legit playoff spot
The Hornets. Come on, bro. The Hornets creeping up, man. Let's go.
are the Heat and Magic, two
Hornets
very
too, bro.
talented squads.
Hornets going to be there. You know what I'm saying? Seventh game win streak. If you've seen the last video, make sure to go check it out. Me react to the Hornets. Get their 7th win in a row.
And their
Hornets coming for them, bro. Hornets on that ass.
schedule is about to get insane. The Sixers have 9 of their next 12 games on the road in cities like LA, San Fran, Phoenix, Boston. Home games against the Knicks and Heat. This is a tough, terrible time to lose Paul George. But speaking of bad timing, it turns out the Giannis trade might not actually go down the way that we thought. Yes, Shams was
Crazy. Giannis might not get traded this postseason, but we'll see. That was that, though. I appreciate you guys for watching the video. I feel like it gave more insight on the video I made previously. So if you want to watch that video before this one, that would be good. Or watch that video I made after this one, that'd be much appreciated. You know, that would make a lot of sense on what I was saying yesterday with the video I made. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys for watching the video. That was kind of the whole spiel on it that AM Hoops had to say. And like I said, bro is a professional, bro. No, he knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's doing. So I 100% believe that was very insightful on the whole Paul George situation. So now, you know what I'm saying, me and you, we all know about it. You know what I mean? So once again, I appreciate you guys for watching the video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy this type of content. And I appreciate you guys for watching. Peace.